Hello everyone, and thank you so much for placing your trust in us today. We truly appreciate you purchasing our products and this special handmade kit. In today's tutorial, we are going to walk you through the process of creating our mushroom coaster. Right here is the beautifully designed pattern we have already printed out for you, and next to it is the half-finished coaster that we have already started making to show you the progress. To begin, we first need to focus on preparing the soft pom-pom yarn. This specific part corresponds directly to the pattern we have printed right here on the sheet. And then this area right here. Once we finish this area, we'll move on to this part. Once we have finished up with everything here, we can start working on the coral dragon on the ground. Make sure to fill the entire thing in very thoroughly and completely. And after it is all filled, we are going to start working on the star section. Once the star part is finally done, then we can slowly transition over to the process of creating the mushroom. And also this foxtail grass. And this pom-pom yarn as well. Alright then, let's dive right in with this step-by-step tutorial. Let's take out these two tools first. The first step is to take our pom-pom crab and cut it open. But be careful not to cut your hand. Do them in pairs. Okay? After folding it exactly in half, we can start making it. First, for this printed grid, we count back 3 squares. 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll start right from here. Pull it all the way through. If it's still too long at this point, what do? Then we move out 1 more. When you pull it through again, you don't need to take it out anymore. Just push it back in. Then grab the next pom-pom yarn. Alternate the colors. Alright. But once we get to this point, it's enough. We can curve it downward. Curve it downward. That's right. From here, our primary objective is just to fill it up with vibrant color. That's all. And then pull it all the way through. If it's too long, pull through 1 more. Alright, for the next color, let's pick green. We can mix and match the colors however we like, right? Alright then, let's go. What if it's too long? Just simply move back, maybe 2 or 3 spaces. Now pull it through. Push it in. Let's grab another color. How about this specific color? Cream. Alright, turn it over again. Alright, so when we reach the very last step of the process, you'll need to know how to finish the whole thing off. What you want to do is simply look around to find any nearby strand, whichever one is sitting closest to you, and then thread it through to finish the job. Thread it through. Alright, now it's secured. What do we do after it's secured? So now that we've finished making the ball of yarn part, how do we adjust the colors? We can just twist them however we like. First, we need to make sure to secure the head firmly in its place. After pulling it out, then what? This thread here. Hold onto this thread and pull it back. Alright, now we've got it secured right here. Okay, now we'll move on to the next step. Pull it back. Make sure you don't make this end part too long. Just about 1.5 centimeters should be more than enough. 1.5 centimeters is perfectly okay for this. Pull it back now. Alright, let's line them up and see if they're about the same length. If they're about the same, we can move on to the next one. How do we make it? We're making an S shape. You get it? Sit it here, then make the S shape. That's how you make it. Alright, let's move on to the next one. To begin this sewing process today, the very first thing you need to do is carefully cut off the end of your thread, making sure to leave it about this long. You definitely do not want to cut it too short, as that would make it quite difficult for you to handle. Now, we are going to use a handy needle threader to help us out with this task. First, very carefully slide the thin wire of the threader all the way through the needle's eye. Then, gently place the end of the thread into that wire loop and slowly pull the threader back out to bring the thread all the way through. It is often much more helpful if you decide to cut a relatively short piece of thread to start with, sew with that for a while, and then simply cut a brand new piece whenever you find that you need more. This specific approach makes the whole sewing process much easier and more manageable for you, because if the thread is far too long, it becomes very inconvenient and frustrating to pull and weave through the fabric without it getting tangled up or knotted. Alright, so how exactly do we go about doing this next part of the project? First, you will want to start your threading from the very bottom of the material. After you have successfully come out from the bottom, pull the thread steadily and firmly upward until it is completely tight and secure in place. Now, this part of the process is quite simple. Make sure to leave about this much thread hanging. You don't need to pull it down any further than this. We are going to use this extra length a bit later on to secure the stitch. So after we come out here, where do we go back in? When we are working on this project, we have the freedom to move across the fabric in several different ways. We can go across horizontally, we can move vertically, or we can even choose to go crosswise. It really doesn't matter which direction you pick, as long as we successfully fill in this entire designated area with our chosen color. Whether you decide to go horizontally or vertically is a choice that depends entirely on your own personal preference and your individual sense of creativity. Usually, as a general rule of thumb, we leave about 3 to 4 empty squares to give ourselves some space. Later on, after we finally come out from this specific spot, when we want to go back and fill in this remaining area with more color, we need to make sure to connect it properly with this existing part. So let's count them out together. 1, 2, and 3. Usually, we find that it is best to go into the third hole because it helps to make the final result look much more natural and seamless. After we come out right here, we carefully go into the second hole and pull the thread all the way up. Then we gently put it back in. Now, this brings us to an important question. What exactly should we do if we find that our thread isn't quite long enough to finish the job while we're in the middle of working? To begin this process, we are first going to carefully thread our needle through the fabric. Then we will gently insert it inside using a smooth and consistent wavy pattern, and then we will slowly pull it out the other side to complete the stitch. If you run out of material, we just need to rethread a brand new piece of thread and continue working steadily in this exact same manner until the section is done. If you ever feel that the thread is becoming a bit too short to handle comfortably, simply hide the tail end inside the fabric using the specific technique I just demonstrated for you a moment ago. Once we have completely finished stitching all of the green areas across the entire pattern, let's take a very close look together to see if there are any specific spots that might benefit from a little bit of extra filling to make them look perfect. For instance, I noticed that this particular area right here could probably be made a bit wider to look more balanced, don't you think? Or, depending entirely on your own personal preference and artistic style, if you think this specific part looks a little bit too narrow for your liking, you can certainly choose to make it wider. If you decide this part is too narrow, you can widen it too. But please remember one important rule. Don't add any more stitches to the inside. Instead, you should just add another complete round on the outside edge to expand it, okay? Alright, let's start adding the extra stitches starting from this point here. We will add a full beautiful round on the outside right here to give it more volume. Next, let's move on to the next technique. How exactly do we go about making the little star part? You start by threading it through carefully and pulling it out. Be sure not to make the thread too long, or it will definitely be much harder to work with and might get tangled as you go. After carefully aligning both ends of the thread to make them even, tie a secure knot at the end. First, we will make the little star located in the corner. Start by threading through one single grid, pull it over, and then thread it through here. Now it is fixed firmly in place and won't move, right? Come up from underneath the fabric and find a clear central point to serve as the anchor. Don't pull the thread too tight here. If you pull it with too much tension, this delicate part will simply disappear into the fabric, see? So please be very gentle and don't pull too tight, okay? Next, come out from here, then go directly into this hole. Got it? Each time you do this, you must go into this exact same hole to keep the star centered. Don't pull too hard on the thread at any point. For the next step, we will still go into this same hole, okay? We want to make sure every single stitch is consistent and looks beautiful. Take your time with each movement to ensure the star shape is perfectly symmetrical and clearly visible against the background. Keep repeating this process until the star looks full, bright, and complete. It is very important to maintain a steady hand and even tension throughout this entire process, so the final result looks professional, clean, and exactly how you envisioned it. Let's keep going slowly and carefully, making sure every stitch is placed with precision and care as we finish this beautiful star detail together. Next up on our list of creative tasks for today, let's move right along and start the process of making our very own cute little yellow pom-pom to add to the project. The specific tools and materials you are going to need to have ready for this particular part of the craft are a standard plastic pom-pom maker and a good amount of bright, soft yellow yarn. To begin the process, first you need to carefully open up the two semicircular arms of the pom-pom maker so they are fully extended and ready for the yarn. After you have successfully opened it up, Take the end of your yellow yarn and begin to wrap it around the curved arms. You want to wrap it exactly 10 times, making sure you count out 10 full loops to get the right thickness for our little friend. Okay, now that we have wrapped it 10 times on this side, go ahead and use your scissors to carefully cut the yarn away from the main ball. Next, we are going to repeat that exact same process and wrap the yarn around the other side of the tool just like we did before. Once you have both sides of the maker fully wrapped with the yellow yarn, take your scissors and carefully cut the yarn loops open along the middle groove of the tool. Then make sure you cut the other side as well so all the individual strands are separated. After you have finished all of that cutting, take another separate piece of yellow yarn and tie it very firmly around the middle gap, making a strong knot and pulling it as tight as you possibly can to hold all the strands in place. Go ahead and tie another knot on top of that one just to make sure it is completely secure and won't come apart later. Okay, now you can open the tool up and release the pom-pom. If you look at it and see that it is not looking very fluffy yet, what should you do? The best thing is to just take a small comb and gently comb it out to separate the fibers. If you notice that the overall shape is not very round or looks a bit uneven, right? Then you should take your scissors and very carefully trim all around the edges, cutting off any long bits until it looks like a perfectly round, fuzzy little ball that is ready to be used. Now, we are going to pick up our sharp craft scissors and very carefully begin the detailed, patient, and meticulous process of trimming this material into a much smoother, more uniform, and more perfectly round shape than it was before. You should start by slowly and methodically trimming all the way around the outer edges, almost exactly like you would when you are neatly trimming the vibrant green leaves on your front lawn during the height of a sunny summer afternoon, continuing this repetitive and careful process until you finally achieve the perfect, symmetrical round shape that you really like for your specific project. Once you have completely finished all of that meticulous trimming and you are happy with the look, you might be wondering exactly how you are supposed to attach it to the rest of the piece. To securely fix it in place so it never moves or shifts around, you need to carefully thread the material through this small opening right here and tie a very firm knot. Then, go ahead and tie another strong knot right on top of the first one to make absolutely sure it stays exactly where it belongs for the long term. Okay, as you can clearly see by looking at it now, that part of the construction is now completely finished. To create the specific slot for the dog's tail, you are actually going to need to make 2 of these identical dogtail slots to ensure everything is balanced and looks professional. First, go ahead and take out these 2 bright green pipe cleaners from your craft supplies. The very first step in this part of the process is to fold both of them exactly in half so the ends meet perfectly at the bottom. Usually, using just 1 pipe cleaner is more than enough for this task, but since we want to get some extra practice today and make it extra sturdy, we are going to use 2 of them instead. Now very carefully take your scissors and cut them right in the middle. The next step is to press down firmly with your thumb right here on the center point. After you have finished pressing down, you should start twisting the material slowly from this point while holding it very tightly so it doesn't slip out of your fingers. See, it is starting to look just right and is ready for the next stage of our assembly. It looks great, doesn't it? We are doing a wonderful job so far, and it is all coming together perfectly. To start things off for this particular step of the process, you are going to want to take your material and very carefully twist it into a small, neat loop. And then from there, you just need to keep on twisting it again and again in a steady, repetitive motion until the entire length of the piece is completely finished and looks exactly the way you want it to look. Next up, we are going to need to find a really good way to create a really secure spot to hold everything together so that the whole thing doesn't accidentally come undone while we are working on the rest of it. After you have finished folding the material over onto itself, make sure that you give it a very firm and deliberate twist right here at this specific junction to really lock that shape into place so it stays put. Okay, once you feel confident that it is secure, go ahead and take your cutting tool to carefully snip it open, and then use your hands to gently and patiently shape the material into a nice smooth arc that follows a natural, graceful curve. Now, very carefully insert this loose end into the small opening you just created, and then spread the two sides wide apart to ensure it stays firmly in place and won't budge at all. Alright, it looks like we have successfully finished this particular part of the project, and we are finally ready to move on to the next stage of the process without any further delay. We have taken our time to ensure every single detail is just right, and now that this section is complete, we can proceed with confidence to the next part of our build. Now, for these 3 mushrooms, exactly how many of those twisty sticks are you going to need for each one? Let me explain it to everyone. First, this mushroom here is the biggest one. This one's the second, and this smallest one is the third. For the first mushroom, we need to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to use 7 twisty sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 twisty sticks to make this mushroom. For the second mushroom, we only need 6 twisty sticks. 6 twisty sticks. For the smallest one, we only need to use 5 twisty sticks. You only need 5. Okay? Also, there's one more thing. When we are starting to work on the very first mushroom right here, we really want to focus on the first steps of the process. When making the first mushroom, we can make this part a little longer, up to about here. About like this. Around 3 centimeters, about 2.5 to 3 centimeters. This is the length for this mushroom, 3 centimeters. See, it's just right, about 3 centimeters. As for this one and this mushroom, we can make the second mushroom a bit smaller, okay? The second mushroom, let's not make it any longer than this one. Maybe just a tiny bit shorter, right about up to here. About here. About 2 to 2.5 centimeters. See that? The first one is somewhat longer, while the second one is noticeably shorter. So what about the last one? This one will be even shorter. For this particular one, let's make it as short as possible, somewhere around 2 centimeters or so. So you can compare and see. Now, next, let's go ahead and create the 3 original mushrooms we started with, okay? Alright. Okay, first, take the first one. Let's secure it in place. All right, just wrap it around twice to secure it. Okay, after it's secured, then what? Now, 2.5 centimeters. Press it down. That sounds good. Everything looks perfect. Give it a twist. After securing it, make sure the next step's length is done in one go. When one burdock stem is not quite long enough, how exactly do we go about connecting it? We fold it in half and bend it right over like this. Then take another stem and fold it in half as well. Make a hook with it. Alright, take a look at this. Now that it is completely secured, right? Once it is firmly fixed in place, we can keep going. Okay, let's thread it through. Alright, as we pull it through, let's tighten it up. But when tightening, don't pull it this way because the joint will be exposed and it won't look good on the mushroom. We need to tuck it inward, like this. And then after that, we tie a simple knot, okay? Once the knot is tied, we cut off the excess. All right. Press it down. Secure it right here. All right, now this is the only part left. Tighten it up. After tightening, twist it. So what do we do about this gap here? Well, thread it through from this piece. Push it down through the middle. After pushing it through, we need to... Okay, once we're done here, press it down. When it comes to our mushroom, it's a bit deformed, right? So we're gonna carefully press it back into shape. First, use your hands, just like this, to firmly squeeze it into the exact mushroom shape we want. Alright, so now our mushroom is finally done, right? Okay, next, we're gonna make the mushroom pen. How do we do that? Step 1. Fold it in half. After folding it in half, fold it in half again. Alright, now let's secure this end. Okay, let's secure it downward. You can decide on the specific length of the piece yourself. If you want the mushroom stem to be a bit longer, you can just continue to hook it down just a little bit further, because when we fasten and secure the bottom section later on, its overall length will naturally be a bit longer. Okay, that looks very good. Next, the second step is to fill this area completely and then add another piece. So now we've made this cute little mushroom, right? How exactly do we attach it here? First step. Just insert it into the middle here. Okay, after inserting it into the middle, see, there's a fixed spot here. So we just secure it firmly like this. Okay, then let's add our cute, tasty little mushroom. Right, so for this step, how do we attach this pearl? Secure it onto here. To start things off, first, our kit includes this handy glue stick. So first, carefully melt down the glue stick, and then firmly press on our pearl. Securely attach it to the surface of the mushroom. Alright, next we are going to need to use these 3 specific tools to carefully sew up our handmade mat. Okay. Thread it through. Okay then, let's go ahead and get things started right from this spot. Okay, at this spot, thread it through to secure it. Alright, once it's secured, next. Secure one section around the edge. Alright, after we're done, secure it back firmly right here. First, we need to use this. Once you have finished making sure it is securely fastened with the adhesive, you're gonna want to take this piece of thread here. Alright, that should do it for this step. Make sure to carefully secure it right at the very center position first, before moving on. Then secure all around the edges. Now let's trim off all the excess parts. Okay, for the final step, we take this and sew up the edges nicely. Tie a knot here. Start from this mesh fabric. Pull it out. Step 2, from here, from the mesh part, just pull it out. Alright.
Yes, instant noodles.
Okay, when we've finished sewing everything, how do we finish it off? Here, it's like this. The last stitch, we pull it through it. After pulling it through, tie a knot. Tie another knot to make it more secure. Ah. And just like that, the coaster's completely finished. If you happen to have any questions at all, please feel free to email us directly on Amazon or simply leave a comment for us on YouTube. Contact us.